All right, guys, we're back for round 17's review for Supercoach 2023. Um, Scored 2540 this week, which was not a terrible score. Top 4%. I think it was top 2% before. I guess more people logged in. Ran about like 20 points off, like a top 1% score, and like a very good score. But I'm okay with it. When you look at the week, it's small things that did it. So it's like, going Johnson over, or taking Johnson over Marek is 10 points there. Shiesel in his role, that's about, 20, 30 points there. Like, a couple of these off games, Green and stuff. Not a terrible week, to be completely honest. I thought it was going to go bigger, but then Sunday hit, and Sunday's always been a bad day for Supercoach, let's be honest. But yeah, we'll go into it. Dacos was great. So the Pies had the Dogs at Marvel, which I think Marvel's like the perfect ground for Collywood. They look like the All-Star team when they play at Marvel because it's smaller. They can just outrun you. It took them a minute to realize that. Like if you watch the first or something like that, they're trying to play kind of like the MCG style game where it's spread the field a bit. Be a bit more selective with your kicks and stuff. You don't really need to play that way at Marvel, and any team that's going fast is going to beat that at Marvel. But yeah, then second half came and they just turned it up. Like there was no way they were going to lose that game. Stewart was pretty good. I didn't catch a heap of this one. I saw the first quarter and was like, well, this is a blowout. I'm not even going to bother. I thought North would lose by more. I thought this was going to be a 100-point beating, but credit to North, they brought it back. It's still, what is that, like 70 points? Good for Stewart, but in these kind of blowout games, I don't think he scored the best. Just off memory. But this has been like maybe his best year in Supercoach, but a lot of high scores and then a lot of kind of like low 90 scores. 18 doesn't count. He was injured, doesn't count. But yeah, good year for him. He's basically stayed above 90 all year. Dawson, this game was actually alright. I really liked watching this one. Thought the Crows were playing a bit off. They should have won this. Like even with the history they have outside of Adelaide and Essendon being a very good Marvel team, because again they're a young, fast team. I thought Adelaide should have won this. So Dawson wasn't super affected. Laird could have been better. I thought Laird was kind of off, which 117, call that what you want, but it just looked like there was a lot of opportunities for him to play better. It is what it is. But yeah, Dawson wasn't too bad. Didn't mind him. Bailey Dale, so Ed Richards is back. I'll bring up the kickouts. His kickouts were hindered by Ed Richards' return. So where are we? Dogs. And yeah, so he had 5 last week. He had 6 this week. 5 that he actually played on from. But then Ed Richards came back and took 4 of them. So he could have had 10. That sucks. Because 10 of them, and that's an easy 100. Like, any player with 10 kickouts is getting at least 100. Saying that, he had 9 here, and he only had I think it was like a 95 or something score. We'll see how this goes. I didn't think Richards was that good, to be completely honest. I thought there was a lot of bad decision making on his side. So maybe they make him the definite number 2 kick-in guy instead of the fighting for number 1. Just because I don't think his decision making is that good. But again, it was his first game back, so probably a bit of rust. Will Day was pretty good this week. So Hawks were kind of competitive with GWS for, say, about 3 quarters worth. And Will Day is this midfielder. It's kind of working now. I was worried for a bit because I was like, he's not that good of a midfielder. His best role is kind of like swinging around the back line onto the wing, and then by virtue of that, playing as a midfielder. It's kind of like Nick Dacos. Nick Dacos is a midfielder, but he will also line up at halfback. I think Will Day can be used in that same role, just obviously he's not as good. Nick Dacos is probably the best player in the competition. And, there's a lot of potential there for even better than best in the competition. Um, yeah, so I'm not saying Will Day is anything on the Dacos level, but I think he can be used in the same role. It's kind of like a reject shot version of him. Sheasel, so this is really not good. So what did Zeeble score? 'Cause he was the sub that came on basically like 5 minutes into the game, so he only had 59. I think the whole North Melbourne backline kick to kick, I think that's over. Aaron Hall didn't play, so can't blame it on him. Didn't play. I don't think any North Melbourne defender really scored that high. Yeah, I think those days are done. Whether it's a Clarkson thing or the other guy, former Essendon coach, or no, St Kilda, but Ben Ratton, Brett, I can't remember his name. Uh, yeah, I don't think he likes that kick to kick in the back line. So Sheasel could be a dead pick for now. Plus, he's playing a lot of forward, and I'm not a fan of it. I don't understand why you'd have a player play forward, come on the bench, and then when he goes back out in the field, he's in the defense, and then like switch that way instead of like a midfielder going forward because that's like natural progression of the game, or defender coming into the midfielder. Yeah, like that. I don't know. I don't like that style of play from a player. So yeah, might be looking at trading Sheasel this week. I do have like these two trades. Could make one, and then I still have one for the. There's a big injury coming. Has to be a like Bontempelli ACL round 20. Like something is going to happen. It just feels like it this year. Yeah, so might be looking at Sheasel. Bont was really good, I thought. Kind of underscored, but I thought he was impressive. Could have almost won the game himself if the Pies didn't like really just turn into the All-Star game. Merritt was excellent again, like a couple of weeks in a row. I feel like post-bye, he's just been insane. Yeah, so 10 onwards, he's had really good games. 13, what was that one? Carlton, MCG. Carlton would have... This is pre-waking up Carlton, so they were kind of shit. Oh, probably an Ed Kerno tag. Yeah, Merritt is one of the best players in the competition at the moment. Like, I think that's for free. His inside 50 kick is good. He's a good, like, tough midfielder. He's probably one of the better captains in the league as well. But yeah, Neale was very good on Thursday. No, Saturday. Yeah, I mean, it was against West Coast. This should have been almost a 200 score, so I'm not even going to pull it up. I think they had like 20 behinds. I think I'm right there with 20 behinds. That's pretty bad. Like, okay, they still won by heaps, I get it, but that's not impressive for you to only win by that much and kick that bad. Petrarca had 4 goals, kind of carried his score. Not a fan of him playing forward, so he only had 20 touches. This is a guy that usually is up in the 30 range. 4 goals really did save the score. This was looking a lot worse for a while. I hope he's playing midfield this week because he's not a forward. Can't kick good enough. No matter how many goal kicking training camps you put him in, he's just not enough. He's not good enough as a goal kicker. Laird kind of went on this before. I thought he should have been a bit better. A lot of chances for him, just didn't capitalise on. Brayshaw, I don't even know what's happening at Freo. So they're winning centre bounce clearances. Their ruck work is like some of the best in the comp, but they cannot turn that into points. Whether it's their forwards suck, that's what I think it is, or just they're kind of like game style is just not good. I think it's a mix of both. They're a bit too happy to handball around instead of like actually attack with a kick. Like basic, just 22 handballs is too many. Like for a midfielder, that's too many. This ratio isn't good enough. You really want like 15-15. Like 15-14 is good. 12-17 isn't terrible. 14-19 is probably the where you'd want it. Like if you were to swap this around with this game, I reckon they would. And again, they won against Geelong. So, and I think they were competitive against Essendon. I can't remember that game. Yeah, I'm not a fan of how Freo's playing, so I might not be picking Brayshaw for a while until they get rid of Longmiller. Tom Green was kind of just off, couldn't get a hold of it. When he did, wasn't doing anything with it. So, yeah, only 17 touches, not good enough from him. Really want from him, who's a very disposal, reliant guy. You want at least like 20. Really, not even 20, like 25 you want from him. Dunkley was injured, might be hurt again this week. We'll see. If it's the same thing, I'm just going to go with Johnson again. I don't really trust Marriage, even though I actually think he's okay. Like, just as a West Coast fan, I think he's solid. I don't think he's best 22 on a good team, but I think for West Coast, he's fine. Like, he'll get the job done. He's better than Darling, for what that's worth. He's much better than Jack Darling. Yeah. Rucks were really good this week. I feel like this is one of the rare weeks where both are putting up massive scores. 130, 149. English was the better of the two visually, but Marshall did score more. Just had more like Supercoach relevant stats. Goulden was extreme again. Ended up losing 2 points off a captaincy. So I was thinking about a Goulden vice captain, right? So the original plan was Goulden into Neale. So I changed it up. I only lost 2 points, not the biggest deal. Taranto, I mean, that's 2 weeks in a row that he hasn't been great. He's got the touches, he's got the tackles, he's got the good stats. He's just not really turning it into a ton of points. Wait and see. I still think he's one of the better midfielders and stuff like that. So against West Coast, this should be a free kill for him. Rosie was pretty good. I thought he should have scored more, but it's just kind of how it works at Port. One of them will score big, the other one won't. Keys, my God, this one is annoying. So they're winning and they're playing very good, entertaining football that can challenge Collingwood. How do we change that? Let's just take Keys out of the midfield, make him a half forward again, and play Rochelle, who's actually a forward in the midfield. Where is it? Ben Keys. 70, 75, 55, which is low, but I'll take it. 78. Like 55 against West Coast isn't the worst ever. The most midfield he's played is against Nick Dacos and Collingwood. After that, 3%, 6%. What is this? Why is Rochelle playing in there? Rochelle at like 10% is good. This can't be going. Like, you can't expect to keep his job if he keeps doing that. They will not make the 8 if they do that. And I think this year, if they don't make the 8, I think there's going to be a lot of questions about Matthew Nicks as a coach. Cornelio was pretty good. But I think this is the last year of Supercoach relevant Cornelio. He's going to be a midfielder from now on, or at least next year. And the scores are too up and down. He's dropped. He's still negative on the year, isn't he? Yeah, still negative 38. In hindsight, should have went Goulden, Taranto, Rosie as the starting 3. Ended up going Cogs over Goulden. Cost me about 200 points in the opening weeks until I got Goulden. Not a fan of it. And then Himmelberg, another really just killing me player. I'd say he's had like 20 clangers in the last 2 weeks. What am I looking at? Kick-ins. GWS. to the point of he probably shouldn't have all these kick-ins. Like, yeah, do I want him to have him? Yeah, but he probably shouldn't. He's not reliable with the ball. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Because of the contract year and stuff, he'll probably stay in the spot. But yeah, he probably shouldn't have that many the way he's playing. What am I doing? Don't need that. Yeah, so as I was saying with trades, I'm thinking Sheasel, Himmelberg goes back, which, would put Dunkley forward, but, is what it is. And then I'd go with Callum Mills, who's been playing pretty good the last 2 weeks. So since coming back, 77 against West Coast with limited time on ground, 106 versus Geelong, in Sydney, but again, kind of limited time on ground. And then this week he played a full game, 99 against Richmond. It's low, but that game was kind of just horrible. Let's be honest, it was pretty bad. 20 touches. He's up there with touches, so I think he's a kind of safe pick to make. So I'll be doing that for now. We'll see if I reverse it. I could. So it does only leave one injury trade, which could be an issue if it's a guy like Cornelio or Himmelberg or Will Day, because it's going to be hard to find a replacement for him. I mean, in saying that, there's actually a lot of defenders that are kicking it up at the moment. So, yeah, we'll see. I think that's what I'm going to do. And then vice captain and captain, I think you have to give Bont a shot. Bont or Goulden, one of the two. I think you have to put a vice captain on him. And then I don't mind Merritt in Geelong, because Geelong is rumoured to be going after him in the off-season, so I wouldn't be surprised if he puts in a big game. And then, I mean, Taranto against West Coast isn't a terrible one. No one at Hawks. Adelaide v GWS. Someone here is going to get tagged. I mean, actually, you know what? Let's just talk about Josh Kelly for a second. Josh Kelly. So he was tagged by Hawks Finn McGuinness. Kept to a 23. I wonder what that's going to do for next year, because he's missed a couple, only one game. I know he's missed a couple of games due to injury. So he should get a minor discount for that. Plus, this is going to drop his average. His 3-round score is going to be terrible, which it is. If he puts up another bad game or two, he could be real cheap next year. That's just something to think about. Yeah, captaincy. I'm not really liking anyone, to be honest. I mean, at the MCG, Collingwood, Dacos, I don't mind. I think I'm going to go with Taranto. I think Bond's going to give me a score that I won't even need to take a captaincy, but we'll go with that for now. Yeah, let me know how your guys' week went. Yeah, I'll see you all next week. Tasty out.